Hello everyone, I'm Diana Abifaraj. I'm a fourth year student majoring in Communication and Electronics Engineering at Beirut Arab University. Currently, I'm an intern at Emertxe Information Technology, and this internship is based on embedded system. During this internship, we have built a project called Car Black Box. Table of contents. First, I'm gonna talk about the introduction of Car Black Box, its advantages and disadvantages. Moving to C programming, introduction to C and data types, conditional constructs and operators, arrays, pointers and functions, recursions and strings, storage classes and preprocessor. Then I'm gonna talk about project requirements and designs, including what's embedded system and microcontroller, installation of software, CLCD, digital keypads, ADC, I2C, ISR, timers, tactile switches and interrupts. Then I'm gonna do a simple project demo, and finally conclusion and feedback. Car Black Box. A black box is either physically installed in the car or downloaded as a smartphone application. It links to a GPS device that measures and records vehicle speed, location, distance traveled, driving frequency, and time of day the car is in motion. Some of its advantages: it's a dependable technology, easy data extraction, the recorded data is simple to analyze, it will not infringe the driver's privacy, and aid to the insurance company. One of its disadvantages: this black box is made up of electrical circuits and there is a risk of being damaged. C programming. C is a powerful general-purpose programming language. It can be used to develop software like operating system, databases, compilers, and so on. The basics of C programming. Number systems are decimal, having a base 10, binary, having a base 2, octal, having a base 8, hexadecimal, having a base 16. Keywords are the words that have a predefined meaning, such as char and int. Char, like character, int means integer, and etc. Data representations are bit, byte, and word. Bit is known as a basic unit of information in a computer. It's either 0 or 1. And a group of 8 bits make a byte, and a group of 4 bytes make a word. Integer numbers are classified into two types: positive integers and negative integers. Positive integers are like whole numbers. Negative integers are represented with the two complements of a positive number. Data types. Basic data types are classified into two types: integral, which are char and int; floating points, which are float and double. Modifiers are also classified into two types: size and signedness. Size are short, long, and long. Signedness are signed and unsigned. Qualifiers are constant or volatile. Conditional constraints are classified into three types: single iteration, multi-iteration, and jump statement. Single iteration are if and its family, switch case. Multi-iteration are for, while, and do while. Jump statement are break and continue. Operators are symbols that instruct the compilers to perform a specific arithmetic or logical operating on an operand. Operators are logical, arithmetic, relational, and bitwise. Arrays is a collection of data of the same data type. The addresses are sequential, and the first element having the lowest address and the last element having the highest address. Arrays, the types of arrays are reading, storing, copying, and initializing. Pointers, returning more than one value from a function to achieve the similar result as pass-by variable. Rule number 1, referencing and dereferencing. Pointer should contain the address of a variable. It should be a valid address. Rule number 2, pointing means containing. Pointer contains the address of a variable. Rule number 3, pointer value of a null, which is equal to the address, equal to the null pointer, equal to pointing to nothing, which means a pointer that's assigned a null is called a null pointer, which is pointing to nothing. Functions. is a set of statements that's used to perform a specific task. Using functions, we can achieve modularity, easy to understand, reusability, and easy to debug. There are two types of parameters passing techniques, are pass by value and pass by reference. Pass by value copies the actual value of an argument into a formal parameter of the function. Pass by reference copies the address of an argument into a formal parameter. Other types of C programming are recursion. Recursion is the function that's called by itself. Strings are the sequence of characters, easily stores ASCII and its extensions. Storage class are auto, register, static local, static global, and extern. Preprocessor header files is a file that contains C declaration and macro definitions to be shared between several source files. Now, project requirements and designs. Microcontroller is an integrated circuit which is capable of being programmed to perform a specific task, and all components are in one single chip, less flexible and less design complexity. Things to be noted when choosing a microcontroller are applications, availability of tools, performance, and special capabilities. What is embedded system? Embedded system is a combination of both hardware and a software which intend to do a specific task. Requirements are reliability, cost effectiveness, low power consumption, efficient usage of processing power, efficient usage of memory. The challenges are efficient inputs outputs, embedding an OS, code optimization, and testing and debugging. Major components of embedded system are microcontroller or microprocessor, memory, the storage, input-output peripherals, and the sensors. Real-time aspects is divided into three types: hard, firm, and soft. Hard should mean its deadline, firm it's similar to hard real-time, and soft can have tolerance in meeting its deadline. Installation of a software. We build the project on a software MPLAB X IDE and simulated on a software PICSIMLAB with the help of XC compiler. That's the board we used, PIC Genius and microcontroller PIC16F877A. Those are the components. That's the fan, LCD, 7-segment, matrix keypad, digital keypad. Those are the LEDs, potentiometers, microcontroller, real-time clock, and those are the switches. CLCD is a character liquid crystal display. In PICSIMLAB there are two types of display, 16x2 display and 16x4 display. It displays the ASCII character and some special characters. There are two types of communication modes, are 4-bit mode and 8-bit mode. Digital keypads provide simple and cheap interfaces, comes in different shapes and sizes. It's mostly based on tactile switches, and some common applications of tactile switches are HMI, mobile phones, computer mouse. ADC is a functional block which helps to transform analog signal into a digital form. There are 5 types of ADC: flash ADC, pipelined, SAR, dual scope, and sigma delta. I2C, which is inter-integrated circuits, it's a bus interface connection protocol incorporated into the device for several communication, synchronous, half duplex, multipass stave. This is an example of inter-integrated circuit. ISR, which is interrupt service routine, is a software routine that hardware invokes in response to an interrupt. It attends to the request of interrupting source. It clears the flag, should save the register contents that may be affected by the code of the ISR, and it must be terminated with the instruction. And when the interrupt occurs, the MPU completes the instruction being executed, disables the GIE, and then places the address from the program counter on the stack, and then returns from the interrupt. Timer. Timer should never get distracted. Every timer should have a timer register, resolution, register width, tick, the up count or down count, quantum, which is a system clock settings, and scaling, pre-scaling or post-scaling, and the modes are counter, PWM or pulse generator, PW or PP measurement. So tactile switches is an electromechanical device used to start or stop the current flow from along the circuit. There are two types of tactile switches or current flow, pull up or pull down. This is an example of pull up. When the switch is open, the current will flow from VDD to the microcontroller pin having a high signal, which is 1. When the switch is closed, the current will flow from VDD to the ground having a signal of 0. Now here in the pull down, when the switch is open, the current will never flow, so having a signal 0. When the switch is closed, the current will flow from VDD to the microcontroller pin having a high signal, which is 1. Interrupt. Interrupt is a signal that allows the processor or the microcontroller to stop its current task and proceed to execute the handler set of interrupting sources. An interrupt is a communication process set up in the microprocessor or microcontroller in which an external or internal device requests the MPU to stop the processing, then it acknowledges the request, attends the request, and go back to processing where it was interrupted. The classification of interrupts, there are two types of interrupts, hardware and software. Hardware is divided into maskable and non-maskable, and maskable is divided into external and internal. Some formulas we used is that how to get the data range of any unassigned character is from 0 to 2 power number of bits minus 1, and the total ticks is, example here, from 0 to 100 to 255. The total ticks is 256. Tick is based on an instruction cycle, one instruction cycle. It's 1 over frequency of the oscillations clock. And instruction cycle time, it's 4 times the tick based on one instruction cycle. So after time after interrupt is generated is equal to total ticks, which is 256 here, times the quantum. The quantum is given, or duration of one tick is 200 nanoseconds, times the scale. So here it's 51.2 microsecond. Project demo. Okay, we have created this dashboard screen. We have time, events, and speed. The time is displayed in the format of hour, minutes, and seconds. And those two switches are used to navigate up and down, and that switch indicates collisions. So when we press that switch, the event is changing upwards, gear 3. So when I press this switch, it indicates collision. Okay. Now if I want to access the menu screen, we're going to use switch 4. Enter password. So assume I don't know the password and I've entered a wrong password. So I have 2 attempts remains. We're gonna wait. Enter another password. So assume that I don't know the password, still wrong password. 1 attempt remains. Enter the password again. I'm gonna put a wrong password. Then the screen, they told me that you're blocked. Wait for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, I'm gonna put the correct password, and we're gonna see the menu screen. Into the menu screen, we have some options, and we're gonna see every option. One second left. Enter password. Let me put the correct password. It's a 4-digit password. You can see on the menu screen, into the menu screen, we have 3 options: view log, clear log, and change password. So let us start. Okay, I want to select view log. So we're gonna use the switch 6. It records the time, the events, and the speed. That's the first event. That's the second event. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth events, 7, and 8. So here it can record maximum 8 events. Now let us see the rest of the options. We're gonna put reset. Enter the password again. Go down. Clear log. Okay, let us choose clear log. So what will happen is that it will clear everything, all the events. So logs cleared successfully. So again, let us go back. Let us go back to the last option. Which is change password. I must enter a new password. So 1 4-digit. We enter the new password. Password changed successfully. Conclusion: this project offered a user-friendly embedded system to analyze the data of the accident, and this black box system can be implemented in any vehicle for better safety. And this prototype design helps to realize how important it is to have a black box in a vehicle. And the feedback, I would like to thank Emertxe team for their hard work on this internship. It was a really great opportunity to learn and have more information about embedded system. Also, the material was well delivered. Thank you.